we go.
Oh, he's got the earpieces in.
Yeah, he's rock and roll. No more phone.
Well, I finally got here. My computer's cooperating.
There we go.
Me.
There we go. It looks good. It looks good. I still
Thanks.
love the jerseys in the background. It's a great play.
Appreciate it.
Oh,
Appreciate
STM,
that.
they're retired.
Yes.
The retired jersey.
In the rafters.
That's it.
But this weekend, obviously, Friday night was fun. Saturday and Sunday kind of suck. What were your overall takeaways from this SEC series against Texas for LSU?
I think it's long term is going to be good for them. On the short term, not great. Obviously, great performance on Friday, tight game, and then LSU was able to pull away from them at the end of the game. Part of the reason they were able to do that is because they were throwing a ton of strikes. Right? They didn't walk a bunch of guys. They didn't walk anybody on Friday. Cade Anderson continued doing what he's been doing all year. And offense was able to drive in some guys and manufacture runs, and that's kind of what they've built the season on so far and what they're going to continue to try. That's how they're going to continue to win. And then you get to Saturday. Saturday was, kind of what you would expect. It was up and down. It was back and forth. It was a tight game. And Texas did the stuff that LSU did on Friday, and they were able to get some hits, driving some guys, extend the lead, get some big moment and some big moments, and was able to win that game. And then going into Sunday, I felt really good about LSU. Obviously, Chase Shores on the mound, TBD guy who was a bullpen first career start. I think it was first career start, definitely first start of the year for Texas. That guy was lights out. Chase Shores had a little issue, especially in the first inning, grinded to get through that with only one run. But they were on him all day, didn't swing and miss a ton, and they were able to drive some balls and put a lot of pressure on LSU. And LSU tried to make it a game, and they had an opportunity to get it real tight, and they didn't get the hit when they needed to, and then Texas was able to hold on.
Yeah, when you look at Saturday in itself, obviously – to me, I feel like Sunday was just kind of a little bit of a rollover effect from what transpired in the later half of that game on Saturday. What went wrong for LSU on Saturday? Obviously, the bullpen didn't step in and perform the way you probably would have liked. But what all happened on Saturday that led to that LSU loss?
Can't walk 7 guys. They had 7 walks in that game, and to me, that's what that's what you have to point out, right? Like LSU scored, I believe, 7 runs on Saturday. Like that should be enough with the pitching staff and the ability they have to get guys out. That should be enough to win those games, especially on the road against the top 5 team in Texas. Now, look, give Texas a lot of credit. They played really well, but giving a good team extra opportunities or extra base runners, that's never a recipe for winning games. And that to me, that's what you point out on Saturdays. They walked 7 guys. They gave them 7 free base runners, and Texas was able to take advantage of that.
Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this conversation. Obviously, a lot of conjecture about the bullpen. What are your thoughts on whether it be Connor Ware, William Schmidt? Where do you think LSU goes from here? Because obviously they have Jaden Newt going on the midweek. What are your thoughts on where they go from here? Because I'm not in the camp of panicking. Like, I think Schmidt's going to figure it out, but I don't want to answer the question for myself. That's why I posed it to the big leaguer.
Yeah, so I'm with you. Look, don't panic. I mean, it's the second series of the year. You went 1 and 2. Yeah, you didn't win it. It's on the road though. It's a good team. When I said this weekend is good for LSU in the long run, not great in the short run, it's for that reason. Right? A lot of these young guys are getting valuable experience failing early on in the season. Right? William Schmidt has had 2 opportunities over the course of 2 weekends, and it hasn't been his best outings, and he's going to get better from that. He's super talented. He's a guy that's going to continue to get opportunities, and eventually he's going to perform really well. So I wouldn't put a ton of stock into that. Yeah, it sucks, and you want to win every game, and you want that guy to go out there and be lights out from day one. But the reality of it is the SEC is very hard to navigate through, especially as a freshman, especially when you're trying to figure out what the hitters are trying to do against you. And the hitters kind of don't really know you, but they have a little bit more experience. And so that's a tough position for a freshman to be in. And I'm not worried about William Schmidt. I think he's going to be really good. He's going to be a high priority. He's going to be a high leverage guy for LSU this season. Now, as far as Connor Ware, you've seen the ups and downs of him, and I thought he kind of righted it over the last couple games, and then you kind of saw it creep up again this weekend. So I don't really know what you do there. You don't have a ton of lefties in the bullpen, but you've got to, at some point, figure out guys who are going to be able to throw strikes and not walk guys and be able to count on them consistently and not say, oh, with 50-50, what's going to happen today, coin flip type thing. But I'm with you, man. I don't think you panic. I don't think you panic because of what you saw in the last couple weekends.
Yeah, the talent usually wins out. But when it comes to Schmidt, like I've been having this conversation with my buddy, and it's a mindset thing, right? Whenever William Schmidt's been a starter his entire life, and then he has to come into bullpen scenario. Have you had conversations with people that have had to make this transition before, where from probably age 8, he's been starting baseball games, now he has to come in high leverage as a relief pitcher? What's that like? What's the difference between those two things, between a starter and a reliever?
There's a big difference. Obviously, starter, when your days is. You have
routine,
an entire warm-up routine to be able to get ready for this game. You understand, pitchers are creatures of habits, right? So, hey, I'm starting on Friday. This is what I'm going to do on Fridays. This is what I'm going to do on the week leading up to Friday. This is my routine leading up into the game. Like, that's kind of what you get into as a starter. As a bullpen guy, you don't really know when you're going to pitch. You can pitch on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or all of the above, right? You just don't know. The game dictates when you're in there, so you always have to be ready, have a always be ready mindset. As far as him kind of adjusting to that, I think that he's understood kind of what his role is going to be from the beginning of the season. I don't think he assumed he was going to be a weekend rotation from day one, right? Yeah, in the weekend rotation as a starter from day one. Now, he started on the midweek games, and so he kind of went through his routine there. But he also threw some stuff threw out of the bullpen early in the season. He's had some opportunities. I don't think that that's necessarily the reason why you see some of the struggle. I think you see some of the struggle because he's just a young guy, and he's in a big opportunity, and he loves LSU, and he's always dreamed of doing this. And it's an opportunity for him to kind of show that he's deserving of that spot, which I think he is. I think it's just going to take some time for him to kind of understand that and kind of slow his heartbeat down and kind of relax a little bit. But like I said, I'm not worried about him one bit at all. I think that he's going to be a guy when you look up at the end of the season, the postseason, that you're counting on a lot. Now, listen. Maybe there's an opportunity if he starts to pitch it really well, that he ends up in the rotation. I don't know, because Saturday and Sunday for 2 weekends in a row hasn't been ideal. Hasn't been what you wanted to see. I'm not saying you should make a move in the rotation yet, but you've got to get some length from those guys on Saturday and Sunday.
And I've got one more for you, because just in terms of like the pitching scenarios, because you saw Cowan come in obviously on Friday. LSU has a 6-run lead, and it wasn't necessarily the case whenever Cowan was getting hot, getting ready, that he comes in. A lot of conjecture has been made about using that, I guess, that bullet, so to speak, on a Friday whenever you have Saturday, Sunday left. But is it not the right strategy to SEC on the road, get a win on Friday, and then you have 2 chances to get another one?
How many pitchers did they use on Friday? 2, right?
2.
So not only did they get a win on Friday, you start off the series 1-0. It's hard to lose. It's hard for a team to beat a good team back-to-back games. It happened this weekend, but it's hard to do that. So now you go into the weekend 1-0 with your whole bullpen available, right? You only use 2 guys. You use a starter and you use Zach Cowan. At what point did you want to use Zach Cowan this week, the rest of the weekend? That was going to be beneficial for you to win a game. Saturday?
Right.
Maybe, but you were losing. You know what I mean? You wanted to pitch him in a 1-run game, and for me, I think I'd rather have a 1-0 record going into the weekend and have a full bullpen available to you so that you can mix and match and try to figure out how to navigate through Game 2 and Game 3. And I thought that was the correct decision. Anytime you can get a win on Friday, like you said, you get a win. You get the W and you move on. I don't know. I'm not here to second guess decisions because it's
No, it's the right call. It was the right decision. You get one. Call. I mean, it's not second guessing anything.
If there was a second guess, if there was a conversation to be had about, okay, why didn't this guy pitch? I would say, why didn't Casey Evans pitch on Saturday and why did he pitch on Sunday? Right? Like, if there was going to be, hey, what happened here, what happened there type of thing. But, the other guys, Jay believes in a lot, and he should because they've been really good. So, you don't know that they're not going to perform until they don't perform.
Right.
It's easy to look on Monday and say, oh, he should have thrown. Look how good Casey Evans threw on Sunday. He should throw him on Saturday. It was like, well, yeah, but look how good Connor Ware has been throughout the course of the year. Look how good some of the other guys that weren't good on Saturday, look how good they've been. Like, it's easy to look at it on Monday and say, oh, well, they should have done this. And like, well, in the moment, it's like, well, okay, it kind of sounds like a good idea in the moment until they don't throw well. And it's like, well, it probably wasn't a great idea.
I'm a great golfer on Monday.
Speaking of golf, I heard you had the conversation about us on the golf course.
One of the most fun times I've ever had. We had an absolute time. It was a
blast. I got surprised with a question. I didn't even know the ball was. I didn't know there was a ball behind me.
The noodle.
I think I riled that guy because he Hazel rocketed it after that. Yeah, and he's hitting a noodle. That's a whole other.
That's a judgment on its own in its own right.
Yeah.
But like I said,
after you said noodle, I was like, that's probably why I didn't see it because the noodle shouldn't be on the golf course.
Might as well be a highlight ball.
I mean, unbelievable.
But when you get back to, I guess, a little bit of the baseball conversation, that's what it was. Like, people can, it's so funny to do this. Like, we do this year after year where we've been covering LSU baseball for this year 4 for us, doing mic'd up Monday, Wednesday, 6 to 8 p.m., Friday, 1 to 3. But, like, this happens every year where it feels like
looks
LSU.
Right into the camera.
You like that? Yeah.
I like that.
So whenever you get, like, to the brass tacks of what we're trying to do and kind of rein people back in a little bit, because it feels like it's always second guessing, fire Jay, fire Yetsky. Like, you're 2 weeks into a 10-week SEC season. You have 8 series left. And
what's your record, Lloyd? What's the record in the SEC right now?
4-2.
4-2. That's pretty good, right?
Pretty good.
You have 2 games. You're 2 games over 500 in the SEC. You could be Florida. You could be Mississippi State. You could be A&M. Where you're 0-6 and are 1-5, and you're trying to wake. You were that team last year. You were that team last year at the beginning of the year where you had to go and fight back over the last 3 or 4 weekends of the year and put yourself in a position to make the postseason.
Make the SEC tournament.
You were 4-2 in the SEC tournament. Exactly. You're 4-2 now. So yeah, it's not great that you lost on a weekend, but you lost on the road to a top 5 team. If you lost on the road against Missouri, okay, we'd have some issues. You lost on the road against a top 5 team, and yeah, you didn't play your best baseball. Second week of the season, fortunate for you, you're 4-2, and you get to come back home and you play against Mississippi State. And the best part about that for me as a player, when I struggled or the team struggled on a weekend, I want to get back on the field as quickly as possible. You play Tuesday against UL, who obviously for some reason hates you. Hates you. I say for some reason. I know the reason. They hate you, right? They want to beat you. So that's going to be a little bit of an intense game, which is great. That's what you want to kind of get back on the saddle. And then you play Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I, as a player, wanted to get back on the field and say, fuck that. That's not the way we are. That's not the way we play. That's not the type of team that we are. Let us get back on there and play it. And that's what they're going to get to do Tuesday. And they got Thursday, Friday, Saturday against Mississippi State, who hasn't been great. And they're struggling. And that's also a dangerous team in a sense. But I think LSU has positioned themselves to say, okay, you know what? Let's rebound off this and beat Mississippi State and get back on track.
Was there any concern in your mind? I know you're talking about
first of all, let's go.
The mindset going into Tuesday, and I love it. Is there any concern in your mind of the mindset and effort that was shown yesterday in that loss, where it just kind of looked like there was no energy kind of from start to finish?
So listen, that's a hard thing to really look at in baseball. It's not like football where you can obviously tell that they are playing with no energy, or basketball when they're playing with no energy, right? They're not switching on picks, and they're not playing hard defense, and they're not hitting guys hard. And they're not pursuing the way they want to in football. Like, all of those things are obvious to the mind, like, damn, this team's not really ready to play. In baseball, it's not as simple as that. They may look lethargic and look like they weren't ready to play, but then you go look at the first inning and they sat in the first inning for, they had, Chase Shores almost threw 40 pitches, right? So they're sitting still and they kind of, the rhythm of the game kind of got off, and this is not an excuse because you've got to figure out a way to get over that and get past that. And, what Texas did was Texas was able to control the pace of the game. From the first inning on, they were able to control the pace of the game. LSU was not able, early on in the game, not able to get anything going. Their pitcher, the Texas pitcher, was able to keep them at bay, was able to keep them without really giving them a lot of issues and really putting pressure on them. And when you do that, it makes the other team look like, they just weren't really ready to play. Where where in reality it was, Texas just played really well, came out and they punched them in the mouth early, and it took LSU a little bit because at the end of the game, towards the middle to the end of the game, LSU kind of made it a game. They had an opportunity to cut the lead to, it was a 4-run game. They had an opportunity to cut it to 2 or 3 runs, 1 or 2 runs potentially, right? And so I believe it was a 5-2 game, and you had Luis Hernandez as the player of the runners on first and second or first and third. So, you had the opportunity to get back in the game and get that momentum and make it not look like they were lethargic. And so I would be careful with the whole, they weren't ready to play or they came out flat type thing. Like, that is a thing. But in baseball, sometimes you get a little bit of fool's gold with that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Great stuff. And so going into Tuesday, what is something that you would want to see? Like, is there something different that you could see going into the game Tuesday night that would make you feel better at the start of it?
Yeah. Throw strikes.
Yeah.
Attack the guys.
It really is that easy.
Yeah. Don't walk. It is. And like we talked about this on the golf course on Saturday, Lloyd. When you said, man, Scotty, you talk to Scotty and all he says is do this. It's really simple. All you got to do this. And you said it's not that simple. I said it is that simple. The difference is it's just not going to look. You're not going to look like Scotty Scheffler, but the process of getting to what you need to is simple. Now, obviously, everybody's got different talent levels, and so that process the results may look way better, but that process doesn't change. And so it is that simple in the baseball. Throw strikes, get guys out, don't give them free passes, make them earn their way on base, right? Like that to me is what makes good teams good. And so, for me on Tuesday, I want to see them, make UL earn it. Do not give them walks. Don't give them free passes. Don't get behind the counts. Go out there, attack them, and force them to swing the bat. And then offensively, continue to do what you've been doing. Obviously, you didn't score a bunch of runs on Sunday, but on Saturday, you scored, I think, was it 9? Yeah, you scored a ton of runs on Friday and Saturday. You scored a ton of runs throughout the course of the year, and you've done it a whole bunch of different ways. Continue to do that. Continue to put pressure on the defense. Continue to get on base. They draw a ton of walks. Now, when you get guys in scoring position, come up with a couple base hits. Doesn't have to be a hit every time. But that is what I want to see is play the fundamentals of baseball. They've been playing really good defense, and they've been swinging the bat really well. The third part of it is pitching. It hasn't been consistent enough. They're too talented on the mound for it not to be consistent. And I know Jay's telling the guys the same thing. Hey, throw strikes, and you're not in this issue. You're not in this problem. You're not giving up 7-8 runs against teams that you shouldn't give up runs to because you're throwing strikes and you're forcing them to swing the bat.
Yeah.
Jay was hot Sunday.
Hot.
He should have been.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's why. Because of, just throw strikes. He has got to go out there and do the mound visits. We did all of this scouting and reporting. And, brother, put it over the middle. I don't care because you have one of the best defenses in the country and you offense that can – they were averaging 10 runs a game before Sunday. But I have one more question for you before we let you go and get back to big-time network accounts, whatever you're doing. I don't know, cloud services. Split jersey tomorrow?
I promise you I'm not doing anything with in the IT world. I promise you that.
Hey, you're on the internet. You're good.
It gave me a little issue, but I figured it out.
That's right. And no Excel sheet. I know that also after Friday.
Nope.
Some. But split jersey for you on Tuesday? ULL, LSU.
Split jersey? What the hell does that mean? No way. Split jersey? Just because I'm from Lafayette doesn't mean, no. LSU all the way, obviously no jersey. I'm not wearing a jersey. because that would be weird.
Break glass in case of emergency.
You know, should I just show up with my jersey?
Haven't seen a number 8 yet this year.
Full uniform.
Yeah, well, number 8. Yeah, I think that's I've seen a couple of Bregman jerseys in there.
Oh,
yeah. But yeah, no, LSU obviously all the way. Look, UL going through their own little stuff right now, but UL is, every time they come in and play LSU midweek is they're going to try to beat them. I believe they beat us a couple of times when I was there. But they're going to come in there, they're going to try to win the game, and they're going to try to reap the benefits of what Texas did to LSU.
Yeah. Curse Cajun-omics.
Yeah, that too. Kick LSU while they're down. Try to give LSU their third straight loss going into the weekend. I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fun one. I'm going to try to.
You're going.
I think I am going to be attending that game.
You're going.
I think it's going to be a popular one for everybody. I think I'll be there as well. Christian, are you going?
I can't hear him.
To the game Tuesday night?
You can't.
We'll be there.
Everybody's going. It's a good one.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see.
It's a great game to go. Weather's warming up.
Yep.
You think Newt Tuesday?
I think Newt throws on Tuesday. Now, here's the other conversation. Mm-hmm. Does Newt throw another 4 or 5 innings, or they say, hey, here's a couple innings and we need you for the weekend?
Right.
That's what I was going to ask.
It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series this weekend against Mississippi State, so you don't have as much time to recover for him to be ready to pitch on Saturday and Sunday, right? I would imagine if he throws 4 innings on Tuesday, he's probably not going to be available until Saturday, at least.
Is there any?
So I don't know. That's a question. It's gonna be interesting to watch,
because that was going to be my maybe just thinking out loud. It does feel like with the way that, and I'm not putting too many eggs in this basket just because of what you've seen. I've seen Schmidt pitch. I'm not concerned. But do you think you see him go back to maybe after this week where they flip it if Newt throws again well, where it's 4 innings of kind of what he did last week, and you start going, okay, maybe we need him in the weekend rotation in terms of coming in relief as opposed to Schmidt, who feels more comfortable as a starter? Is that a real conversation?
It could be. It could be. I think the bigger conversation is trying to figure out how to make Schmidt feel comfortable in the role that we have him in. Right, because I think the ability is too good to ignore. I think he's too talented of a pitcher to not be able to utilize him in big moments on the weekend against top tier teams. And so I think I think if Newt does throw well, I think that is a conversation. But I think the bigger conversation is, okay, he's had 2 opportunities. William Smith's had 2 opportunities on the weekend, and he hasn't pitched as great. He's been a little bit erratic all over the place. And how do we get him comfortable for him to pitch the level that we've seen him pitch leading up into these last couple of weeks? And I think that's kind of what they're going to try to – if that means, hey, you are going to throw on this day in this inning no matter what, get ready for it. That's very hard to do as a bullpen guy, though. So, I mean, it's hard to say, hey, you're going to throw in the 6th inning or the 7th inning on the second game of the series. What if Ianson has a no-hitter?
Yeah.
Or what if
strikes out 15 again?
What if exactly? What if Ianson gets in trouble and in the 3rd inning, and now you got to bridge the gap that way when you don't and now at that point, is it worth throwing Schmidt? So it's that's the hard part of being a bullpen. So I don't know the answer to that. I'm glad I don't have to make that decision. But I do think that they are going to try to figure out some way to make him more comfortable in the role that he's in.
Big week for LSU baseball. Tuesday, Thursday,
see you
Friday,
next Tuesday, UL.
Saturday.
L.
Great stuff from Mikey.
L. Extra L. Don't forget the second L.
I'm trying to give him a 3rd L.
Good. There you go.
Still sharp.
Lloyd, did you talk shit about our golf game?
No, I was saying I'd said I've never had more fun on the golf course.
We're
close to scoring well. I did shoot 80 on the nose yesterday with the old pop.
80?
Yeah. Dude.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought you were talking about 80. I was thinking on Saturday.
No. That scorecard it cannot be found. Not yet to be determined.
Yeah, I was like, 80. Come on. 80 on the nose. Where'd you play yesterday?
A Pelican Point with the old pop. Shot
38
on the back.
Go down to There you go.
Made some putts.
There you go.
Made some putts.
We don't play well together.
We played. That was our best round. That was our best
round together.
We both got.
Yeah, I messed it up.
Simpatico though. Like the brain was working together for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah. You just need to caddy me.
Yeah, we got there. Like I don't want to give you too much advice, but then when we got on the same playing field in terms of same headspace, that's all that mattered.
Yeah.
Noodle brain.
Right, exactly. Noodles. That guy was so mind fucked.
That was so funny. He's probably still thinking about it.
Hey, is that mine? Oh yeah, here's your
head cover. He's like, that's my head cover. Is it yours?
I was like, I didn't see your ball there, bud. Sorry.
Then absolutely
the other tee box.
Shank. And his girlfriend laughed at him.
They had a nice laugh about us.
Yeah. Oh no, that guy thought about us the rest of the day. We were just like, what? I don't even know what just happened. Like, I don't know what they're doing, but I'm now in that.
We made his day. His day.
Worse. It made our day better.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I fell out of a bunker.
doubt.